Welcome to the MBM Vault, live from the Media Hub on iRadio.ca. I'm your host, Zach Campbell.
I'm Kim Shawobin. This show is all about music, local talent, industry news, and most importantly, fun.
Of course. Today we'll be interviewing Bailey Reimer. She's a music photographer and also she's the operations manager at the artist management enterprise known as Takeover. So we're just going to start off our first segment with a brief overview of what's going to be happening today along with how we're doing. So I got to ask you, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. This morning was an early morning for us at the MBM Vault. We met at 9 a.m. to do a little meeting and shoot some stuff for TikTok, if you want to quickly talk about that.
Yeah, so all our social media is MBM Vault. We filmed really fun TikTok, some new stuff. It was honestly going to be really fun to edit and just see the outcome of it. So I recommend heading over to our social medias.
Mm-hmm. We did, if you guys have ever seen those office TikToks where they go this or that, we kind of did that where you walk to one side, whichever one you prefer. And then we did a little bit of Shazam, where to try and guess the song. We were doing mostly top 40s or best of the decades. And we failed at doing the TikToks where you walk by someone and then you say what song you're listening to. We couldn't really script it that well, but it was still fun to do that.
Yeah, I recommend going and watch them because we had a really big fight over a pen.
It was a very big fight. So are you listening to any new music recently?
The Beatles released a new song recently. That's apparently it's their last song ever.
Ever? Was that something that they recorded recently, or was it like something from before, but then they released it?
I think it was like a recorded tape, and the members who are still living today took the tape and kind of just revitalized it, but it's a really good song.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on it?
I love it. It's in my playlist. I listen to it. It's probably going to be on my repeat soon.
Okay, and it's called Now and Then, I think?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Have you heard it?
I have heard it. I haven't extensively listened to it to the point where I can formulate an opinion, but it was still good from what I recall.
Exactly.
So besides music, I gotta ask, have you watched the Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
Of course. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot of people told me it's kind of good or bad, but I thought it was just a 10 out of 10 movie.
Did you play the games growing up?
A bit, but I think I was also scared of them.
Yeah.
So I think I would play for 10 minutes and tell myself I was
Did you ever make it past at least the first night?
I did not. Did you?
I did. I played every single game. I even read the books too. I was very invested in
books?
the lore. Yeah, there's books.
I did not know that.
You did not know that?
So, MBM, we're a program.
Mm-hmm.
Something recently that's happened that's pretty cool is Flashback released their first ever newsletter. The newsletter was pretty cool. They talked about Breakthrough's first event, which was a White Lies party. They got a few quotes. I was one of the quotes. So if you see the newsletter, you can see what I thought about the event. They also talked about 3 albums, which were really cool. So if you're an MBM student, make sure you go subscribe to that through Flashback's website. Yeah.
And how was the White Lies party? Because I know that you attended.
It was pretty fun. I had a great time. I thought the venue they chose was pretty cool. I also really liked that they did the White Lies theme because everyone also had a name tag. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I actually learned everyone's names. And since there wasn't a lot of first years there, it forced me to kind of meet a lot of the second years, which is really fun. They're all super cool, super nice. But yeah, I'm really excited for all their other events that they do. Mm-hmm. But you should have came. It was so great.
I had work, but otherwise, I really wish I could have come. How was the music at the event?
They had a DJ.
Okay.
Honestly, the music was probably my favorite part.
Really?
Every single time he'd start playing a new set or a new song, I'd be like, this is so amazing.
Were you dancing?
A little bit.
A little bit?
There was also a dance competition at some point in the night.
Really?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I was in the bathroom, I came out, and there was just people in a circle, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I think it ended pretty fast, though, because a lot of people were scared to compete in it.
And how about the upcoming open mic?
That's this Thursday, right?
This Thursday.
I think I'm going. Are you going?
If it doesn't interfere with work, I will go. Yes.
I'm super excited. Super close to school. It's at the Copper Ranch, right?
Yeah, that's just right by the Shoppers, or?
Yes, I believe so. Right in front of it, I believe. But yeah.
Are you going to perform, or are you just going to watch?
I am not a person who can perform, so I will support, and yeah.
Is there any performances you're looking forward to? Do you have any friends that are going to be performing?
I haven't heard of anyone yet who's performing, but I'm sure I'll know.
You'll know a few.
Yeah.
Is there anything school related right now that you're excited for or you're working on?
Honestly, this podcast has been probably the coolest thing I've been doing. So just looking forward to this every week.
How are you feeling now that this is your second time being co-host?
Still nervous, still getting used to it, but I feel like I'm getting more comfortable.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, coming after the music break, we will be interviewing and talking with Bailey Reimer, who once again is the manager of the artist management enterprise Takeover. Don't forget you can follow us on social media at DC SA Media Hub and MBM Vault.
We're going to play you some music. Here's Beneath the Roses by Say We Can Fly.
Welcome back to the MBM Vault. I'm your host, Zach Campbell.
I'm Kim Shugobin.
And today we have Bailey Reimer sitting beside us. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. So we're going to ask you a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. First, we're going to start off with, so obviously you are the manager of Takeover.
Yes.
Are you able to provide just a brief description of what it entails and a little bit about its history?
Yeah, so Takeover is an artist management company focusing on rock and metal artists. We currently have 7 artist managers and 2 social media reps. So we just sign all of our artists and just help them get closer to their goals in the music industry. Things are looking pretty good right now. We actually have all of our artists signed right now. All of the managers are doing a really good job. So yeah, I'm looking forward to how the year's gonna look.
I have
Awesome.
a question for you.
Yes.
How do you actually go about signing artists? Like, what is the process for that?
So I tell them to go scout artists, and I kind of give them a variety of ways they can do this. They can go to like smaller shows and like actually talk to the artist, but the main thing I kind of tell them to do is just find one like local artist on Instagram and then go through their followers and like they're tagged and who they've played shows with, and then just from there just fall down a little wormhole of artists to find a bunch and then just start reaching out everywhere you can.
Is there any common challenges that you may face when trying to find these artists?
Well, like myself, I'm not an artist manager, so I haven't had to go through the challenges, but basically I've been told that there was a lot of bands that they just never heard back from at all. So I'd say like the lack of communication sometimes could be a main thing, but other than that, it's gone pretty smoothly, so that's good.
Do you guys have any future plans or any events you're looking forward to going to?
We're looking forward to Oshawa Music Week. That'll be like later in April, because we're hoping to be able to do some kind of like either just takeover showcase or just like a metal showcase. So that's something we're really looking forward to. We got photo shoots coming up, hopefully to do some more interviews here. So yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to this year.
And is there any key factors or any advice you'd give to aspiring artist managers that would help them kind of pursue this career in a successful way?
Honestly, a really important thing of it is networking and just putting yourself out there. So to just kind of work on having that confidence to not be afraid to put yourself out of your shell and go to, these shows and like actually go talk to the artist. Like I get that can be like super intimidating for some people, but once you have kind of done it a few times, it does become easier. So I'd just say, kind of being able to break your way out of your shell a little bit.
Kind of like exposure therapy in a way?
Yeah, a little bit.
So kind of just focusing on you now. So you're a music photographer?
Yeah, I do like concert and live photography, and then I've also done some other like promo shoots, including like art, album, like single covers. And
Why
stuff
did you
before.
choose music photography? Like what drew you to that?
It started about 2 years ago when I would just bring my mom's little digital camera to concerts and just take pictures when I like had like close seats. So based off that, I was like, ooh, some of these are like pretty good. And then when I came into this program last year, I was actually a photographer for Flashback. So when I saw that, I just kind of put together a little bit of my own portfolio and was like, this seems fun. So I went with that. And then once I started going out to shows and stuff a lot, I just like instantly fell in love with it. So
Do you have any favorite artists or acts that you've photographed?
that I've taken photos of like in a professional sense, not just me going to their concert and happening to bring a camera, would be the band New Friends.
Okay.
They're a local band to Ontario, and they're starting to get more established now, which is really cool. But yeah, so I've taken photos for them like 4 times like that now. I've taken photos for them in Toronto, London, and also Vancouver over the summer.
Awesome. Is this commission work?
For them, it's kind of just been the trade-off of I get the media pass, and then I give them their photos just because I'm still learning. So that's kind of how it has to be for the first kind of year, but I'm starting to, take it to a more kind of professional level.
If you had to choose one artist, one band to photography for, who would it be?
That's a good one. Okay. Honestly, gonna be 2 completely different answers. One answer would be Taylor Swift, just because that would be insane. Just like the level of, the stage performance and stuff that she does, that would be so cool. And then the second option would be Ice Nine Kills, which is a metal band, but they have extremely cool theatrics and stuff that they do on stage. with like costumes and like weapons and stuff. It's really cool. So either of those two artists would be pretty cool to take photos for.
Do you by chance have any concerts coming up that you're going to be working at?
I am hoping to take photos at Imminence. It's another metal band that's happening at the end of the November. Other than that, I don't really have too many in mind. You kind of just have to keep an eye out on what's playing recently, because as a photographer, you can't reach out too early or else they kind of forget. So you kind of have to have that little opportunity window. So I haven't looked too much into it because I've been focusing with all my other stuff right now.
I'm curious about what it's actually like to be a music photographer. Like, is there something you like, dislike about it?
It's just really cool because I don't have to kind of worry about having like a boss or like a coworker constantly breathing down my neck. Like, I reach out to all these bands myself and be like, oh, hey, like, I'm a photographer, like, this is my work, like, I saw you're playing this show. And then it's like, I just go to the show myself. My name's always on like a little guest list. I just go there, I take my pictures, I sometimes talk to the band after the show, and then I just kind of get to do my own thing and then just leave after.
That
like,
sounds so cool.
it's just nice.
So we just talked about the positives, but is there any downsides or negatives to working as a concert photographer?
Red lighting would be the main thing. I've definitely found that with smaller shows and like smaller venues and stuff, the lighting can be a really big issue, especially with red. But honestly, not really. I think it's just kind of, for me right now, kind of going from not charging for my work to starting to charge for my work. That kind of like just period of time has been a little bit weird, and just like a little bit uncomfortable for me, I guess. But I'm making it work. But yeah, other than that, everything has come pretty smoothly, and like, you know, I find challenges as I'm doing it, but yeah.
I used to work in film, so this is a personal
yes.
question. What camera do you use?
It's a Canon SL3.
Okay,
I think. Yeah.
That's a good choice.
So moving a bit away from concert photography, do you do any jobs outside of it?
So yeah, I work at the Biltmore Theater, which is it's a concert venue in Oshawa. So I actually work there just as general staff. So I'll do like coat checks, occasional bar back shifts, merch sometimes. But then I also have a social media marketing internship there as well. So I'm in charge of you know, creating content, helping with like schedules and stuff, thinking of TikTok ideas, posting all that stuff for the Biltmore. So that's kind of my work life. So it's all still music industry stuff. And then I get to do photography with that as
How
well.
long have you been working at the Biltmore for?
Since September.
Okay.
So,
How did you find your job at the Biltmore?
Well, Jacob he used to be a professor here, and he taught live sound and then event workshop all last year. So he was my teacher all last year, and me and my friend basically just kind of kept bugging him to give us a job for like a year straight. And then the last day of classes last year, we gave him like a little thank you note, a gift card, and our resumes, and was just like, hire us, please. And then over the summer, we kind of kept up to date with him, and we gave him a really big list of all the artists we think he should try and get at the Biltmore. And we just like really made it important to us that like this is important to us and this is what we want. So that's kind of how that happened.
It's only been since September, but do you have any favorite memories you've made while working there?
Halloween was really fun because a couple of the guys that worked there weren't wearing costumes, so we all got to just take eyeliner and draw cat whiskers on them, and we called it the costume of shame. That was pretty funny, but there's an emo night coming up December 2nd, I think. That's going to be fun because the emo nights are always
That does sound pretty
insane.
fun.
I heard about that. That's going to be so fun. Well, thank you for telling us a bit about that. Coming up after the break, we'll be talking with Bailey some more. Also, you can follow Bailey's social media at Bailey Reimer Photography. Don't forget, you can also follow us at DCSA Media Hub.
And also MBM Vault.
Yeah.
We're going to play some music. Here is Lost in You by 3 Days Grace. Welcome back to the MBM Vault. I'm your host, Zach Campbell.
I'm Kim Shrugovin.
I'm Bailey Reimer.
Still here.
So, we're going to talk about you a little bit more. So, you took a gap year, I heard?
Yes. So after I graduated high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, like career-wise.
Yeah.
And it had just kind of come out of COVID, and concerts were allowed again. And I hadn't been to a concert since I was like a kid. So I wanted to travel and just go to a bunch of concerts in like different cities all around the world as like much as I could. So I ended up kind of following Harry Styles around on tour.
No way.
Yeah, so he announced his Love on Tour dates like during COVID, and then I had originally bought tickets to see him in New York and LA. And then after COVID, the concerts got super postponed. But me and my friends, we did a trip to New York, and then we did a trip to LA. And then I ended up actually going to England by myself, and I saw him 5 times there. And I really went there not so much to see him, but just as an excuse to go. Because in my head, I'm like, if I buy the concert tickets, then I have to go. And I've always wanted to travel anyway. So, yeah, I went throughout Scotland, the UK, and Ireland to see him. And then I did another trip to New York again right before coming here for my first year for school.
What inspired you to like embark on this adventure?
Really, it's just I've always wanted to travel my whole life, and a lot of it was when I got the idea of I want to go to New York to go to this show. Everyone just kind of told me like that is a dumb reason, like that. Like I don't think you're gonna be able to do that, because I was only 18 then too, like going without parents and stuff. Like I had never traveled before, like at all, so like it was super scary and stuff, and just a lot of people told me it was a bad idea, it's not gonna work out, like blah blah blah, and I just like I like to prove people wrong. So that was the same thing with England too, especially that one, me going by myself, that was a huge one. But yeah, I think that's kind of.
Would you say that the part that entailed like traveling alone and stuff like that like grew you as a music photographer? Like,
I think so. Honestly, that gap year is what inspired me to come here in general, because and just join the music business management program, because you know I spent a year traveling and going to concerts, and I'm like, how can I get paid to do this? So I was like, you know, this is kind of a way. So yeah, I went with that, but it definitely inspired me a lot. Not so much with photography, but just wanting to know that I want to work in the music industry, I think would kind of be the main thing there.
Do you have any favorite songs that they perform live, or any memories from each of the locations?
So when I saw Harry in London, it was his first show in London. He was playing Wembley Stadium, which that stadium has always meant like a lot to me, because that's where they had Live Aid, and I'm a big Queen fan. But so it was during Sign of the Times, which was his like first single. There's no roof there, so it started pouring rain, like pouring rain, and I was in the nosebleeds for that, so it wasn't actually raining on me, but it was raining on the stage. And then there was like fireworks going on during that song, because it was like right before the encore, right after the encore, I don't remember. But he was like also crying, and just like there was a moment there where he just like had his arms straight out, and he was literally like in tears, and it was just pouring rain, fireworks were going, and that was like my favorite song by him. So I was like, oh my.
That's like a whole movie scene.
I know. I was like,
Fireworks.
I'm just so happy I got to experience that, because I know that this show will be a show he will remember forever, because it was his first ever like sold out stadium concert as like a solo artist. So I was like, I'm really glad I got to be like a part of that.
if he goes on another tour, are you going?
I would definitely be going. I definitely wouldn't be going to like 10, because I cannot afford to do that anymore. It was a lot of budgeting and stuff for me to be able to do that. So it was definitely like to going to that extent is definitely kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity, I think, at least for that. But yeah, I think that's kind of.
So since you enjoy the aspect of traveling, after you finish this program, do you plan to stay here in Canada?
I don't really know. I've been looking at different internships and stuff in New York, because New York is my favorite city of all time. So being able to live or just work there would be like either there or just touring would kind of be my ideal dream. But then all of my networks and stuff are in Toronto. So it's like I don't really know. It's kind of whatever opportunity I can get, I'm just kind of gonna go with what I think is best. So I don't really know where I'll end up.
Have you ever been to New York during Christmas time?
Not during Christmas time, and I want to.
I've always
so
wanted to go,
bad.
because every time I've watched Home Alone Lost in New York
Yes.
too, it looks so awesome
Yeah.
there. I think is it Rockefeller Square where they have the skating?
Rockefeller Center, yeah.
Or like that big tree?
The giant tree, yeah. It wasn't there when I was there. It was like a roller skating rink when I was there. Because I went, the first time I went, it was in October. And then the second time I went, it was in August, which was really hot. Don't go in August.
Gotcha. Noted.
With music photography, in Toronto specifically, do you remember like a moment or a person you like photographed that like stands out to you?
I would say the artist Vancouver Sleep Clinic, which he's been an artist that I've been a fan of for a couple years now. He's very just like kind of an ambient kind of sound. But he's an artist that I've been a fan of for a few years. So when I was able to get a photo pass and like take the photos for him, that was just really cool, because I was like, I've listened to him for like ever, and like now it's like I'm getting, you know, this is like my work. This is cool. And then I got to meet him after the show. He was like super sweet, and then when I posted the photos, he was like commenting on them and stuff, and I was like, this is really cool, because this is like an artist I've been a fan of for a while.
What would you say your favorite music genre is? I don't think we asked you.
It's either like just pop, like Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, like 5 Seconds of Summer, that kind of stuff, or like metal, like metalcore.
Very
Very
different
It's one or the
genres there.
other. Like I'm either listening to Solder to Prevail or Taylor Swift, and there's like really no in between. It's just,
I mean, that's
it
a pretty good
depends on
lineup.
the mood I'm in.
That is a pretty good lineup.
Great lineup.
But like that's the good thing too, is that because if you're gonna get into concert photography, it's good to like broaden your horizons, so you have
Yeah.
multiple genres and artists that you can follow.
For sure. And I was never even into like rock or metal or any kind of like heavier sounding music until I started this program at all. It wasn't until I actually took concerts. The first show I ever shot was just a small metal show. But then I kind of became friends with those people, friends I made here into the genre. And then last year Takeover, like the Enterprise just kind of took me under their wing. So I was just kind of like, not like forced into it, but I was like encouraged
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
it. And then, you know, it stuck. So
But now
I'm
it's just like
now
a
I'm
part of your
here.
life.
And now I'm the one managing Takeover.
That's awesome.
So
It's a
There we
nice
go.
little
Circle.
pipeline that happens there.
yeah.
So since we are a music podcast and also
Mm-hmm.
that we are in the music business program, do you have any favorite releases this year, specifically albums?
I would say it's honestly probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It was released earlier this year. It's called Beneath the Roses by Say We Can Fly.
Okay.
The title track was one of the ones that we were playing earlier. But it's just, that album is just so beautiful. Like it's really not really pop or metal either, surprisingly. It's just kind of sad is like the way I could say it. But not all the songs sound like super sad. It's just very like deep in a personal album, and I just think the production of it is really amazing, and he is a super underrated artist in my opinion. He's also from like Lindsay, Ontario.
Okay.
But yeah, he's kind of like a emo sort of artist. I think he's kind of well known in that scene.
Would you want to photograph if he ever goes on tour?
I would love to. I'm waiting for him to announce tours. We're trying to get him to play at the Biltmore. That's another person we're like kind of aiming to get, but he hasn't announced anything. But if I could take photos for him, that'd be insane.
That would be pretty
I
awesome.
personally don't think I've heard of them, but how do you go about finding these artists that are kind of like underrated?
Honestly, a lot of them are, I just get suggestions from friends. So that's how I discovered Say We Can Fly. Cause yeah, before I had started kind of getting into, you know, like emo and like metal music and stuff, I didn't really listen to any underground artists either. So yeah, a lot of like recommendations. And then like I was saying with earlier, the band New Friends, they were actually the openers for just this other concert I was going to. Ended up talking to them after the show because I was a huge fan of them, and then one thing led to another. Now I kind of have a bit of a connection with them, so that's cool.
That's actually a great question that you brought up there, because I have two methods specifically to finding new artists or
Really?
songs. Is that on Spotify? I don't know if you guys know, but every Monday it comes out a playlist for you.
Yes.
It's what's it called?
It's like
Discover
Release
Weekly.
Radar?
Yeah.
Oh,
Discover
yeah.
Weekly. And at the same time, if there's like a song you really like, you can click like the three dots and then go to Song Radio, and it'll show similar songs to that song.
Mhm.
So that's how I personally find new artists. If you have any methods of your own.
I honestly just I'll listen to my playlist, and once the playlist runs out, it starts recommending
That's
songs to
true.
me,
Mhm.
and it's like songs that are so perfectly tailored to me. I'm
Yeah.
like, hold on. But I have a question for
Mhm.
you. Breakthrough, they host events. Are you planning to go to open mic?
I might go to take pictures of it, depending on what day it is and depending if I'm working. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I would just really have to look at my schedule, but I'd totally be open to going.
Do you perform at all, or?
I don't.
We're in the
I
same
have
boat.
like zero musical talent. I wish I did. I tried, but no, I haven't.
Did you ever play instruments in like band or?
No.
We're in the
I
same boat,
never
don't
did.
worry.
I own an acoustic guitar. I can play like one little riff, and that is it.
I
I've
can
Smoke on the
strum
Water?
it. I can
No,
strum it
You
You can't
once.
play Smoke on the Water?
Actually, I probably could, but I just haven't learned it. The only one I have memorized is Cherry by Harry Styles, just the little riff in the beginning.
So
Right.
speaking of the Breakthrough event,
Mhm.
Thursday night, 8 to 10, I believe.
Correct.
There will be an open mic for all MBM students. Performers are completely free. But if you're just coming to watch, hang out, there will be a $2 fee. So if you're an MBM student, be sure to come by because it'll be a really fun event, and Breakthrough will love the support. It's a really big thing for the MBM program, so just make sure to come by.
Thumbs up.
Double thumbs up.
Are you able to come? Is that clear of your schedule?
What day is it? Thursday?
Thursday,
Yes.
8 to 10 p.m.
Thursday night.
So do I.
Well, I will be there. I'll make sure you guys are there in spirit.
In spirit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Well, that will conclude our show today. We look forward to seeing you back here next week. Don't forget, you can follow Bailey's social media at
Bailey Reimer Photography.
Awesome, and also at MBM Vault for us, and also along with DCSA Media Hub. Please don't forget that I just said that. Excuse me there. Anyways, here is AM by One Direction playing us out live from the Media Hub. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.